And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big, and it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today. My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helps me change my life and my business.
It's not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. It is Tuesday, Time to Shine show with my lovely co-host, Miss Barbara.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Wonderful. Yes.
You do know that I love my cat, right?
Yeah, that's our mascot.
Our mascot.
Uh-oh.
Right now I want to hit her.
Oh no. You can't hit the mascot now.
She chewed through my cord to my Yeti.
What? Oh my
God.
God. No, that's a whole different take now. Yeah, that's not good. That's expensive.
That's at least just the cord. So I'm gonna have to go over and buy a new cord. But it just I was like, why is I mean, because it was like, what is that noise? Because I turned it on yesterday because I was a guest on a podcast yesterday. So I turned on my Yeti and it was like, what's that noise? Geez, coming from the Yeti. And then I found the cord. So it was just enough that it was she had bit through. Yeah.
Oh no, bro.
I mean, we love our pets.
Yeah. See, when that kind of stuff happens, so you have to think about we love our pets.
We love our pets. And in fact, this morning I was sitting there in my prayer time. And they were both sitting just like right across from me, kind of like, Mom, aren't you done yet? So I'm going to make, a friend of mine said that you can make a reel with photographs. So I'm going to take a couple of pictures of them running around. I'm going to make a little reel about them because it was just Daisy was like, aren't you done yet?
And you know what? When you post that, you're probably gonna get a lot of views because people love babies and cats. babies
and cats. So I'm going to do cats and dogs. And then do a little poll: cats or dogs or both.
See, you'll flood with people. I'm telling you, it's weird.
Why I'm telling you that? I mean, number one, my cat. I love my cat. She'll be popping up here any minute.
Yeah, I thought I see the tail, but yeah.
Not yet. But I swear she's on the screen somewhere. Anyways, but I thought we would talk about today. Yesterday, I was on 2 different podcasts yesterday.
Okay.
And but one of them was we were talking about, and pretty much on both of them, that's how relevant this subject is.
Okay.
Is raising your energy.
Mm.
And I'm not talking just your physical energy. I mean, yes, we have to do that. That's where it starts. But raising your vibrational energy. We need to do it. And guess who's in charge?
Us. I knew you was going to say I knew it.
Us. So, but then people look at me and go, but Barb, how do you do that? Well, right now, if you are listening to this, and welcome, I'm so glad you're here. But right now, be mindful that you're listening. Put everything else down, because being mindful means being present in the in the moment, in the present, where you are right now, and just do your best to stay there. Because if you're not present right here now, you're either worrying about the past or worrying about the future. Can you do anything about the past? The past is gone. Can you do anything to impact the future? Well, you can do stuff to impact the future, but you can't change the future right now. Like you can't take a breath for tomorrow.
You know, it's funny because this is like deja vu. I feel like I had a conversation or I heard somebody somewhere in a podcast or network something saying the same thing you're saying right now, Barbara.
It is so, we have got so much anxiety, depression, people harming themselves, and it's part of it is all because we are not present in this moment right now. So if you're listening to this and you have some things going on in your life that are just, we all do. So right now, take this moment to just take a breath. You know, my take a breath of life. Take a breath. You know, and check in with yourself. check in with right now. Because on any given moment, we have the choice to be happy. And the thing is, people think about, I'll be happy when. Oh, I'll be happy when when my business is making $10,000 a month. Or I'll be happy when my kids are back in school. Or I'll be happy when my husband gets a promotion. Or I'll be happy when I retire. Or I'll be happy when fill in the blank.
You're right.
And how often have we done that? The thing is that's future. That's not right now. Right now, you are alive and well and doing, right at this moment. And you might be having trouble breathing. You might be in pain, whatever, but you are here. And the future is unlimited. That's what's the cool things. The future is unlimited. The future is whatever you're going to make it, but you can decide right in this moment. But that takes practice.
Well, it takes practice, and it goes back to what I always say, Barbara, where I always tell people, you can choose. Yeah. And you have to choose, because you can choose either way. You can choose the way down the road, like you said, of, sorrow me, and oh boy, I'm going through, and back in the day, and now I'm not here yet, and I wish I had, you can go through all of that, but where is that going to take you? So you have to choose this to the path to say, I'm right now in present time. First of all, appreciate the present time.
Right.
Appreciate that we're still talking, we're breathing, we're everything else. That's the one thing that we all need to do.
Yeah, be grateful.
Energy pumps up after that. You're right.
Right.
So,
and I'm going to tell I believe in being totally authentic. Last week I was kind of watching a quite young person who is just on fire. Just, all over, just doing all sorts of stuff. Just, just all the accolades, all the income, and all the openings that they've had for their business, and da 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 da. And so it was like, and I was talking to another friend of mine, and we were just chit-chatting about this, that it crosses your mind, and I don't care who you are, it crosses your mind, oh, why can't that be me? Or I wish I had done it when I was 30. And in one of the moments last week where, I'll be honest, it was like, I wish I had done this in my 30s. Number one, the opportunities weren't there as much as they are now. Okay. So the thing is, though, I realized in that moment that I am here for this time, this space, this audience, for now, for such a time as this. Because at my age, there are so many people coming up that need help to navigate retirement with ease and with grace. And how many people do you know that retired and within 2 years they had died?
Yes.
And it's because they don't know how to navigate retirement. They don't know how to age gracefully.
Wow.
And it was, Barbara,
that's deep.
That's why you are here, to help people to age gracefully. We can do it. We don't have to end our life in a hospital room. I mean, sometimes that will happen, absolutely, because accidents happen and things like that. But there's lots of things you can do to prevent it. And that's what I'm here for. And it was like, oh, you're right. Barbara, quit beating yourself up for not doing it when you were 30.
Well, just like you said, Barbara, we're all here at an appointed time. We're here doing because there's a reason, there's a purpose. I always say the purpose again. There's a purpose for you being right here at this exact time, doing what you're doing and helping who you're helping. So that's very important. That's powerful what you said. Yes.
And that goes back to there being 7 billion people on the planet. Well, how many of them are aging? Okay, one of the statistics that I did look up, right at this moment in the US, over 40% of the population is over 35. Okay, so over 35, 40, at least between 35 and 75, 40% of the population. Well, when do we start aging?
What, around 40s?
Nope, 25.
Really? Wow.
Our body, the human body, starts to age at 25. And it's because it stops producing as much collagen. And you've heard me expound on collagen before, but that's why it happens, because it doesn't make as much of it on its own. We do always continue to make collagen, but we don't do it as much. Well, guess what? All of the fat pads in our joints are made of
Collagen.
So that's why it starts at 25. That's why for myself, I hit my late 30s and I was feeling my back, my knees, my hips. And there were days where I could hardly walk. I crawled to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized, okay, I've got to do something about this, because if I'm like this in my early 40s, by the time I was 42, that was my life. I could hardly walk. And I would push myself all week and collapse on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good way to live.
No. Wow.
Anyways,
25. I'm still like, wow.
Yeah, at 25. And this is a medical fact. It has nothing to do with what business you're in or what, I happen to be in wellness, but that's why I know it, because it's a medical fact.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is so that's why, by the time I was in my early 40s, well, guess what? Guess where my body had taken the collagen from my joints that it needs for the essential organs.
So what it will do is if you're not supplementing parts,
it'll take it from other cells in your body. Well, guess what? It starts with most of the time it starts with your joints. But then it'll start taking collagen from your heart muscle or your brain. Dementia. It's because we are not getting collagen and cleaning out our brains.
Wow.
They're now calling it diabetes 3. It's it's amazing to me. And I don't want to turn this into a wellness show, but right at this moment.
It's just some good information. It was like, people,
this is a medical fact.
See, this is what I love. I mean, not to cut you off, but like you said, I know you don't turn to a health thing, but this is the awareness part that we need, though. Right. See, that's what I love about our shows, what you do and what I do, is that we bring awareness to people, and so they can start making and thinking and making those decisions.
And make a decision.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until you're 80 and,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, you are my mentor of mentors, Barbara, because every time, and then I just look at you and it's like, oh my God, she can beat any 25, 30-year-old today. You are just on it. You travel. I mean, you're on motorcycles, you're on the boat, I mean, you're living the life. And you're an example for people, like you said, that's aging, that's up there. There's our mascot.
And here's my one. I'll just sit around. I tried it. And now it's like I just let her come in. She knows when I'm on Zoom.
Oh yeah, that's what says she's our mascot. So, but I'm just saying, you're a leader. Just going back to you, giving you your flowers and props here. That to me, you're a leader in that, because you're showing people, just because you're a certain age, that don't mean you don't have to. You can't live, or you can't do things. You can't be energized and doing what you need to do. Yeah. And
and it's like, okay, and so if that's something you're interested in, hey, shameless plug here, reach out to me. Let's chat. It's a free call. It's a free call. I might be able to help you. I might not. And that's okay. But you know what? If I can't help you, I'll refer you to somebody that can, because you might need energy work, or you might need something else. That's not what this is about. This is about, hey, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. Well, part of happiness is being mentally fit. and being physically fit and being financially fit, which is where you and I come in, that we can help people to increase I love the fact of social media. You help people to increase their social media. I've gotten so many tips from you.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
that's good to hear. Like I said, it's good to hear that there's some value coming out of what I'm saying. But I just, like you said, Barbara, going back to the awareness, and going back to being present. And one thing that I've learned, just you brought up social media real quick, is one thing that I learned through what I do. And I was getting this from clients. I mean, they were really telling me their needs, and that's a good thing. That's a good side note, that you need to understand the people's challenges and problems to see where you could help them. So when I was listening, it was like, I just don't get it, or I don't know what to do, or I'm confused, or I don't know how to create this on social. I mean, all that was going on, Barbara. And you know what told me? I said, you know what? It's not only this need to know about social media, they need to understand a strategic way to approach it. And that's when I changed my whole thing of what I do as far as my product a little bit. I said, I need to start from the basics here, and start letting them know. I said, okay, first of all, who are you? What do you bring to the table? How do you help people? Going back to that, who's your ideal client? And then from that point on, let's see where you can fit in the social media realm.
Right.
You might be way out somewhere else, and you should even be over there.
Thank you. Exactly. Pick where you're going to be effective. Okay, but okay,
build from there. Yeah.
It seems how I know you and I love you, and you're a social media. Okay, okay, people, there's no dumb questions. So I'm right at this moment, I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
No dumb questions.
There's no dumb questions. Exactly. Okay. On my Facebook profile, now there has been some major changes.
Yeah,
there has been. So now, how do I take a post that I have put up on my business page, and I can't find now. I mean, I'm like, Barbara, what's wrong with you? And then we start beating ourselves up. What's wrong with you that you can't find this? I said, I'm going to ask Barb, and I'm going to do it on the show, because I cannot be the only one that has asked this. How do I get something from my business page to share onto my personal profile? Or do I need to have another personal page?
Well, yeah, usually with you can hook up your business page. Like if you want things going to your profile, you can do a setting, and you can post, like anytime you post on your business, you can put it on your personal. So
okay. Well, yeah, that's not going to happen without help, because you just lost me.
But see, a lot of
different settings.
but just to give you a clear, now this is a little coaching here. So
this is coaching, and I want it, and there's got to be somebody else out there for it. They need to hear it.
We're talking to just not Barbara here, but other people. Yeah. But I always tell people, your personal Facebook and your business Facebook pages, you have to treat them a little bit different. Because the personal, you can throw some things on there about business here and there, but usually what Meta, it's changed, that they want you to use your Facebook business page all for your business. You can sell things on, you can do a lot of things that you cannot do on your personal. Plus, if you put too much stuff that they see that you're selling, or you're really doing a lot of commercials about yourself, they will shut you down, and you don't want
that's on your personal profile.
That's on your personal. So you got to make sure that, I always tell people, because sometimes they start loading up their personal Facebook with a lot of business type of stuff. Not saying you can't post anything, but you got to be very careful. And they're like, well, I'm putting everything on my personal. I said, I need to let you know, if you're really going to be doing your business, you need to have a Facebook business page and put all that there, and move people to that point. Yeah.
Okay, so which I've got, because we post this show onto my business page.
Yeah, that's what I do every week.
But every once in a while, how do I, I wanted to put this, about this show onto my personal. Mm-hmm. I can't get that. I for some reason, or maybe it's just must be just in my settings then.
Yeah, we can check your settings, and then also, if that doesn't work, then we're gonna have to just post a separate post in your personal one, or share it. You can share from your business to your personal.
That's what I've been trying to do, is share, and it won't share. It won't share to my profile. It'll share to other pages that I have, but it won't share to my personal profile.
Okay, so we got to check your settings, because you should be. So
it wasn't a dumb question.
No question is a dumb question. None. Because I always tell people this, and this is true, Barbara. If you need to know, you need to know. So it's not a dumb question. It's something that you need to know. Yeah. So I'm glad for that question. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, because you're the expert, and I was sitting there, and yesterday I was really kind of getting a little bit, it's like, what is that voice in your head that says, what's wrong with you that you're not getting this? And it was like, Barbara, after the second time, it was like, I thought it. I went, Barbara, a social media expert. Just ask.
Oh, see, and that's what we're here for. Just like all health, everything about the health, what you're talking about, the college and all that kind of stuff. I'm always looking. Every time I need an answer, I go to Barbara all the time, because I know you know.
That's, and if I don't know, I'll find out. And you're the same way. And you're the same way. And it's like, it has been such a blessing to be on this show. And again, we've been on over 2 years. Let's brag, Chris. We have been on over 2 years.
I love what you did. You said, you always say, wait a minute, now it's over. That's what we can say. It's not over 2 years. And that says, what, going to saying that before we go to a break, a quick break, consistency, I was listening the other day, somebody was talking about, it's not consistent that helps you. It's something else they said. It's just what you produce, your value. And I'm thinking it's both to me. You have to be consistent, because people have to see that I feel like that you're, on target on things, that, that you're taking accountability on what you're doing. So the consistency helps. And then also, giving value of what you're talking about is important. So I think consistency and giving value is really important. They were saying, consistency is not that important. I'm like, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. It's like, in fact, yesterday, one of the podcasts that I was on, we were just talking about consistency. And
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a Chemo Buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are Chemo Buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for life.
Healing through connections.
Hello, Paula. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing really well. I just don't know quite what happened. I left, came back, but you know what? Modern technology, we love it. Then with Barbara, of course, is the wizard. So anyways, how are you doing today?
I'm really good. I'm great. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing really well. I'm so excited to talk to you because I know I'm going to plug another little thing that my friend Carol and I do, and we had Paula on our show. Last week, wasn't it last week?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was just so interesting because I can't wait for you to hear what Paula does. And so, Paula, just tell us a little bit about you, how you came to do what you do, and why you do it, and then I can share why I'm so excited about it.
Oh, sure. I'd be happy to. So I originally started my career as I was in radio and television broadcasting, and I enjoyed it, but I found it wasn't as creative as I wanted it to be. And I would always do kind of like little decorating things for people on the side. They were like, "Oh, you have such a good eye." And so I decided to go back to school and become an interior decorator. And I did that for a while, but I had this nagging that there was something more or deeper or that I wanted to go deeper with it. And I always found that I was so honored when someone would welcome me into their sanctuary, their space that they lived and worked in, and invited me in to help them to make it feel better and to not just look better, but really to really match their lives, right? And so as I started doing that work and getting to know my clients so well, I realized what I was doing, and it was more about helping them create, like you were talking about earlier, intention and creating intentional spaces for themselves. And that's kind of how that evolved.
Yeah. And, and that's one of the things that has just right now, we were chatting, like one of the things for me, like I love the colors, and like I have pink, and friends of mine said, "Why do you have pink walls?" Because I like pink walls. They make me feel fun. They make me feel just warm and fuzzy. And so that's so important. So right now, if you're in a space that you're not feeling kind of warm and fuzzy, there are little things that we can do. And that is one of the things that I'm so excited to talk about today, is just those little things. And it's not just about what the actual physical things, right? It's the energy behind the things that you're putting in your house. Or
absolutely. I mean, the whole point of the work that I do is to really get you clear about who you are now and make sure that your space is in alignment with who you are. Because when you're in alignment, right, like you said, you vibrate at a higher energy, and your space then pulls you forward to do the best work that you're meant to do here, whatever that is for you. So for you, you enjoy pink, and that really makes you feel certain things, whatever that is. It might make you feel vibrant or cheerful or at peace. I don't know how it makes you feel, but whatever that is for you, then it helps you to do the best work that you're doing in the world, which is serving and helping others. And so that's what I want to help other people do as well.
Right. So if somebody's just has, like, there are so many people out there that, well, it's just a room. And I have to admit, my sister, she had an eye, and she could just look at something and go, "Oh, that's," and she would come down to my house. And I mean, I just put things up on the walls. I'll be very honest with you. But she would come down and she'd say, "Barb, that's such a pretty piece," whatever that piece was.
Right.
And she said, "It's just not in the right spot." So finally, one day after David and I moved in, she came down to visit, and she was going to be here for a couple of weeks. And I said, "Liz, whatever you want to do in the house, just do it. I don't care what you do." Well, she moved furniture around. And every day David would come home and go, "Oh, where did that?" But it changed the ambiance of the house. And once David and I got used to it, because I have to admit, he did not do change well. He was the planner. He was the planner of our coupleship, of our relationship. I was the more spontaneous. And so when I said to Liz, just do it. That he just kind of he looked at me and he said, "You did what?" I said, "I told Liz that she can do whatever she wants to rearrange the house." Because we had combined households. The funny part was, because he came from a house of his own, because he was when we were both singles, we were both divorced, and then in second home, so then we each had our own home. Well, then we amalgamated our home. What was the funny thing was that Liz said, "You know what? I have to admit, you two have similar tastes in the furniture, in the pieces that we had. They were similar, different, but similar." So she said, "Oh, this is going to be fun." So a couple of weeks, and we couldn't believe the difference in just those little things of moving certain things around to their spot. So if somebody is coming to you for the first time, where do you tell them to start? Do you have a checklist, or how do you start with somebody to get their space so that it does reflect them? And
well, so I'm an empath. And so what that means is that I can connect pretty deeply to people pretty quickly. And I feel their emotions and kind of get a download of what is going on with them in their life. So when I step in and connect with the person and connect to their space, and listen to all the things that they're saying, it comes together pretty quickly in my head. And so then I'm sort of like a translator, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, like I said earlier, I'm just so honored when people welcome me, because your home really is your sanctuary. So, especially, and where you work. And so, it could be something as simple, like you said, of just adding wall color. It could be just rearranging your furniture. It could be removing things that are no longer vibrationally serving you for whatever reason, and bringing in things that feel good and bring abundance. And again, that could be a color, that could be a new sofa, that could be whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be, we're going to strip this whole room and start from scratch, because typically people don't buy things that they don't like, However, we do accumulate things over our lives that people have given us, or that we've gathered, that at some point create stagnant energy that we need to release if we're wanting to really move forward in our lives. And it, like you said, people sometimes don't create intention when they're creating a space. Like the space sort of just happens to them. And then they're like, gosh, I don't know why I just don't feel good in this space anymore. So it's important to really stop and take a moment and go, how do I feel better in this space? What are the things that I can do? And often people don't know, because you kind of get blind to your spaces after a while. So it's nice to bring that fresh, and much like your friend who came in and was like, well, this is a great piece, but it's in the wrong space. I mean, you were just used to it in that space, right?
Right. Exactly. I don't even think I noticed it.
Right. And I'm sure when you came back and she had moved things around and whatever, you're like, you're right, this does feel better now. So that's how I help people, is to just get really in the clarity of all of that. And
Right.
often too,
You know,
people
and
don't know how to do these things. Like they're like, I don't know where to go to get this, or I don't know the steps that I need to get this done, or, do I paint? What color do I paint? I don't know what color carpet. Like they just get caught up in all the pieces where I can see it all transformed. And then I said, okay, well, I'm the person that has all the resources and the ability. So
yeah,
I take what you're telling me, the things that bring you joy, the colors and the styles and the textures and all those things that make you feel those things. And then
right.
I help you manifest that and create that in that space.
Right. And that applies to so many things. Like I'll go back to myself for a minute. My sister, who would down and just change everything. I was not a shopper. I'm still
Mm,
not. It's not my strength to coordinate outfits. It just has
yeah.
not been. I'm getting a little better. I've had to, but not really. So when I was in corporate America, we would come down. She would come down. We would go shopping. I would sit and read, and she would shop. She would shop, and then she would go, okay, you need this, 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 this. How do you do that, Liz? She said, well, it's just, I just know, and
Yeah.
couldn't explain it. But now, you're telling me that you have that same thing. It's totally a gift, and I totally appreciated it. And so when she wasn't here, one day I went into one of the stores and I said, this is where I'm going. This is the pants that I have. What do I need? It's a little bit dressier event. I need a jacket and a blouse to go with this. And this girl, I was blessed. She said, oh, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
And she was like you. And she could see, and she said, oh, and it took her maybe 10 minutes. She went,
Yeah.
go, I know just what would look. I walked out, and all I did was hand in my credit card. It was,
Yeah.
it's the best way to shop, because she picked out the jewelry, the jacket, and I had this beautiful pair of houndstooth back in the day. These houndstooth, really very tailored pair of pants. I had the shoes, but I was blank. I didn't know what to do, because I was going to this fancier event, but dressier, but not formal. And I just lucked out with this girl, and I said, oh brother, thank you so much. And she made, I think I even tipped her because all I did was hand in my credit card, and
Yeah.
she put me together. And it really does make you feel so much more in tune
Absolutely.
with yourself. So
Right. I
wow.
mean, and
Yeah.
your space that you live in, that you work in, I mean, you spend, I mean, especially, since we had been in COVID and all that, I mean, we spend so much time in our homes that you want it to feel good. You want it to make you feel nurtured and safe and comfortable and inspired and all those things, so that when you're out in the world doing what you're meant to do, right? That you feel that oomph, for that surge of support that you truly really need. So yeah, your spaces really do. And I always tell people this, like, think about how much money companies spend on, like, their logos, and in restaurants, the colors, in hospitals, things like that. Color theory and things like that are a very big deal, because they want people to have an experience or feel something when they're in those spaces. So why wouldn't you want that same feeling in a place that you spend a lot of your time, which is your
Right.
home, right? Your most personal space. You want it to feel good. You don't want to walk in at the end of the day and feel, ugh,
Yeah.
you want to
Right.
feel, like you said at the beginning of this conversation, you want to feel cozy and nurtured and,
Right.
welcomed.
Right. Right. And the thing that comes to mind though is what is there something you can do, because not all of us have that home space. Maybe you're living in a small apartment, but one of the things that I was thinking about was, what do you do with people that are working in a cubicle? And that image came to my mind because a friend of mine, her son, we were when I was in Tulsa, and it was just aisles upon aisles of cubicles.
Yeah. They're literally called cube farms. Yeah.
Okay. So now, if you have something like that, because they said, well, it's a cubicle.
The only thing you can do in a cubicle really is just personalize it. And often cubicles have like the soft sided walls and things like that because they want to have some sort of sound absorption.
Like good sound. Right.
Right. So the best thing to do in that situation, honestly, is just personalize it with accessories. So bring in your art, bring in posters, bring in, things you can put on your desk to kind of personalize the space, to make it fun for you. But that's about all you're going to be able to do, because you can't paint, you can't do things like that in a cubicle.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you can bring in some of your things, like no matter what it is, but in the colors that in the colors and the textures that you could okay, that makes sense. Maybe I'll have to tell her that, to tell him that. I mean, it was like
hopefully your company lets them bring things in to make it personal, which they really should. Yeah. Because that's your space. That's your little cubicle in that world. So you should be able to sort of like personalize it in a way that you want to be in there and you want to feel productive,
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and when I was there, it was like, I think he had a couple of things, but he was a guy, but I think a couple of the girls did too. So Paul, if somebody wants to, I just think this is the greatest subject, because where we spend our time is so important for our mental fitness. Like, I'm a mental fitness girl, and physical fitness. And when you're not comfortable in your own space, that impacts everything around you. Yeah. So how do people get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is to check my website, which is www.paulanussbalinteriors.com. And there you can click to check in with me. And if you want to talk, and we can chat about your space and what you're doing, what you're working on, and see how I might be able to support you in creating the space that you want. Yeah.
Okay. So now, for one thing though, you can do that on Zoom.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I work with people all over the place. Yeah, honestly, I can come to your space, but we can do this all on Zoom too. Yeah, distance doesn't matter when it comes to me checking in. Yeah. With the energy,
And isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is. It is. And I do have one tip, if I can give a quick tip.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all about, we have left time, so perfect.
Sure. Well, I want people to have at least one takeaway. Everyone is so afraid of color, and in terms of they're going to mess it up, right? But honestly, your walls are the most square footage that you have. So go to the paint store, get a gallon of paint. A gallon of paint costs you $25, maybe $30 a gallon. All right, a cheap investment, and just paint a wall. Just paint one wall. You don't even have to paint the whole room, right? To just see how it feels. It's going to change how the room feels. It's an inexpensive way to immediately you can change nothing else in your room and just change the wall color, and it'll completely change your world. And it's an inexpensive, quick way. And anybody can paint a wall. You don't have to be Pablo Picasso to do it. You know what I mean? So and seriously, you could always hire somebody to do it, but and you can do it in a day, in a weekend, right? It doesn't have to be a big deal. So that is one tip I would say, to just don't be afraid of color. Just take the plunge, get some paint chips, get them up there, see what you like, and just do it. Just do it. If you hate it, you can always paint it back to what it was.
Paint over it.
Yeah.
Paula, this has been such a blast. Thank you so much for coming on the Time to Shine Happiness Show. And we'll have to have you. We'll have to have you back.
I'd be delighted.
Yeah,
I'd be delighted. Thank you.
More tips and stuff, because you know what happiness is about how you're living and how you're doing. And this is such a big part. Like you said, we are in our home most of the time, or our workspace most of the time. So Paula, this has been such a good time. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you.
Oh yeah, I am just loving it. Barb is going to be